अनुपमा अलख निरंजन हे प्राण सखा त्रिभुवन प्रतिपालक प्राण सखा त्रिभुवन प्रतिपालक जीवन के अवलंबन हे जगत्राता विश्वविधाता हे जगत्राता विश्वविधाता हे सुख शांति निकेतन हे ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांति। Title of today's talk is what? No, before that. उसके पहले thunderbolt for Lord Indra. Very interesting because Indra himself is what? The wielder of lightning, thunderbolt. Indra himself is the wielder of the thunderbolt, and so thunderbolt for him means we're playing. The people online will get busy. Pretty nice. Pardon me? Not too fast. So, thunderbolt for Indra means that Indra himself is lightning. Yeah. He's the wielder of lightning. It even has a name. Who knows? Vajra. Yeah. It's an ayudha. Ayudha is that you throw, which is thrown. Yeah. It's a astra, really. Yeah. Asanat trayate iti astra. Astram. So it's a astra that which protects by throwing. Yeah. So he protects himself and others in the form of the one who gives karma phala. Now we can go back there. So it let's do this. Yeah, just so that you. So that is the whole thing, and that one we connect. Here, I'll hold it.
I like that.
Yeah, and we have to snooze the mic, otherwise it's of no use. Go in there and say, not there, there. Select microphone. Yes. Yeah, now we are talking. Now we are really talking. Yeah, how is the sound over there? Okay? Yeah. Good. Over here you have to make do with whatever there is. Yeah. So, Vajra is the thunderbolt, and he shocks everyone by throwing that, correct? And then for him to have a shock, another thunderbolt is needed, which is the topic of our talk today. Whenever I come here, somehow, we always end up talking about Bhagavad Gita. And this time I thought, let us have a little change. Be nice, So this is the thunderbolt for teaching Lord Indra. And what does that tell us? It tells us many things. First thing, it tells us that even Lord Indra requires teaching. What to talk of you and me? Yeah. What to talk of us? Lord Indra, we are calling him Lord, and then he is requiring teaching. First things it tells us. And the second thing it tells is that teaching which is good enough for Lord Indra, who is such an exalted being, has to be good enough for me. Yeah. So it works as this portion of the Upanishad that we are going to study today and tomorrow, that's all. Yeah. So, this small portion of the Upanishad that we are studying is serving, is a very powerful commentary on two things. One is that even the Lord Indra requires teaching for what? To get out of samsara. How do we know Lord Indra was in samsara? You will find out very quickly. Let me start the story, you will find out. And the second thing, it serves as Brahma Vidya Stuti. Brahma Vidya Stutyartham. So Stuti means praise. Praise of what? That which is the infinite, Brahman, and that which is, Brahma Vidya, which is, because it is non-different from what it teaches, it is also infinite, Shruti. So why does the Shruti need to be praised? Does she have an inferiority complex? Does the Shruti wonder how many people like me? Let me go to DC and find out. Not bad. Many people are here. So, I'm loved. And then she goes somewhere else. Maybe she goes to Dubai, or she goes, because Dubai is full of malls. Yeah. What is the spelling of mall? M-A-U-L. Where you go to get mauled. So, so then she goes to Dubai. Nobody is studying Bhagavad Gita, nobody is studying anything, and so she gets depressed and she needs to be praised. No, she neither needs to be raised nor praised. But then why praise the, Shruti? Why? Why to praise the Shruti? She doesn't have a complex centered on herself, that I am not good enough and I wish people loved me more. I wish this was not Kali Yuga. Why it has to be Kali Yuga and why it has to be Kali Yuga now? So does she need to be praised? Show some signs of life, no? No. Then why are we praising? Through this little story which is more of an analogy, an allegory, a metaphor. So why is Brahma Vidya being praised? For our own benefit. Yeah. How is it going to benefit you if Brahma Vidya is praised?
You know the importance of Brahman.
You know the importance of Brahma Vidya, just like, when something is praised. Oh, new movie has come to town. This is its name. Oh my God, it has got such rave reviews. Then an ichha is born. A desire is born. What is the desire? When is the next show? Ayo, it collides with the Vedanta class. This is a very tough choice. What should I do? So, when the movie is praised, and not just by anyone, somebody very important should be praising this. Whatever it is, whether it's a movie or a restaurant or something like that, And if an American person, an American national is praising an Indian restaurant, the Indian will not go there. It is meaningless. Yeah, because they think they are eating Indian food. This is what the Indians think. This is not Indian food. But if another Indian person who is a very good cook is praising the restaurant, then yes, I better go there. So, prarochitam hi vidyayam, only when the vidya is made palatable. Ajao. So, anything else? Okay. So, only when the vidya, the teaching has to be made palatable, not that it is not palatable, but for the likes of us who have been mired in samsara and who don't know how to get out of it. And even to get out of it, one needs an impetus and one needs it to make it look pretty. It has to be gift wrapped and, snacks have to be there upstairs. Yeah. Even if they're not in the stomach, there should be signs of food life. Yeah. Then of course it becomes much more of an evening. Otherwise just some Vedanta like dry bread, who cares? So it has to be a complete evening. Then it becomes worthy of pursuit. This is human nature. And the Upanishad knows the human nature much better than we know ourselves. Really. And so, the Brahma Vidya is made palatable in all the Upanishads by a very, rochak, story. Rochaka means that which, enhances the experience of the Upanishad, that which makes it more interesting and exciting. So if we look into the Kathopanishad, we have the story of who? Nachiketa and who? Lord Yama. Mrs. Yama also features a little bit in the beginning, but her role is limited. So, like this, and we have lots of stories in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. We have lots of stories in the Chandogya Upanishad. Shvetaketu being one of the most famous ones. Narada, another famous character in the Chandogya Upanishad with a very important story. There also, when Narada requires teaching, what to talk of all of us, again, the same point is being made repeatedly. Then, we have one more story. Famous Narada, famous Shvetaketu, infamous Virojana. Who is Virojana? Kaun hai? He is an Asura. That much you know, enough. Yeah, Asura, what is an Asura? Not good news, that much you know. Asushu Ramante, those that are only interested in sensory perceptions and, sensory bhogas are Asuras. Asushu Ramante iti Asuraha. So those that are just given to sensory, overload without any other, interest, gaining emotional maturity, don't check that box, spiritual growth, no, don't do that. Vedanta, what is that? Is it a food item? No, then I'm not interested. Not even as a side dish. I don't want it at all. So this is Asuras. Virochana is an Asura. And he also features in the Chandogya Upanishad. By some mistake, he goes to Prajapati for knowledge for 5 minutes, that's all. And then returns, thinking he already knows the Atma. And so like this we have, and then Indra himself is featured in so many Upanishads. In that Virochana Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, 8th chapter, the other character in the story, other than Prajapati, the teacher, is Indra himself. Goes. He feels he knows, okay, now I'm there. And if I am there, the teacher should teach. Teacher has other ideas. Teacher points to a cauldron of water. You want to see the Atma? Yes, yes, please look. And Indra looks, Atma has a wonderful mustache. Fantastic. Atma looks very nice in all this fine jewelry. He looks at all his armlet and all these things. Combs his hair with his hands and does lot of things. It's a very handsome Atma, Prajapati Guru. Guruji, even if I say so myself, it's a very good looking Atma. Good, you know the Atma, go back. Then he goes back, and then halfway, and then he feels thirsty. So he's looking in a little body of water, some lake, and there are some dried sticks and leaves there. So he wants to, push those aside. But first he admires his reflection. What a nice Atma, so easy. I missed this. Whenever I want, I can look at Atma. So easy it is. Simply I was suffering all this time, searching for Atma. Then he clears those sticks and little, whatever tree sap which had fallen in the water. Then the reflection also gets disturbed. He said, Atma means it shouldn't be disturbed. But if it is disturbed, then this is not Atma. Then he has the sense to go back. Again he says, please teach me. Prajapati gives him the key to what? Cow stable. That's why it's called stable, because that's where you go to become stable. Emotionally. So Indra spends 32. He says, how long? Just make a few cow dung patties and I'm done. No, 32 years. You have to stay there. But I have come for Vedanta. No. Milk the cows, take them out, wash them, rub them down. And at night tie them up, give them their food, feed them, take care of them. But what does that have to do with Vedanta? Apparently a lot, because after 32 years, class is there. And Prajapati talks, And in fact, the opening prayer, Om Sahana Vavatu, etc., and the closing prayer, Om Purnamadaha, etc., is longer than the class. They are longer than the class itself. The class is one syllable long. What? Om Purnamadaha, Purnamidam. No, wait, I have a question. 32 years later will be the next class. I will definitely answer your question. What should I do? Go back to the stable. This is how it was. So, 3 rounds of 32 years in Deva time, Deva time is different from our time, Devata time. And then apparently he understands. And in another Upanishad, Kaushitaki Upanishad, Indra again is there, but this time in the form of a teacher to guide King Pratardana to receive the knowledge. So, Indra is featuring in a lot of Upanishads as a student, mostly as a student, once as a teacher. So many Upanishads, he's a student, 32 years later, still a student. This is not given to discourage the students here of Vedanta, oh my God. It is given because Indra is the star of all the Devatas, who is the brightest of the brightest. And if he is pursuing the knowledge with such intensity and such jignasa, the desire to learn, then that becomes a, inspiration for everyone else. So too in the Kenopanishad, Indra occupies a very important place. And Unlike the other Upanishads, which first feature a story and then they go on to all the highfalutin stuff, which many people skip, because in the beginning one only catches on to the story. One likes the jokes, one likes the stories, one likes all the nice things about Vedanta, one likes to see one's friends, and so these become the impetus to attend the class. And then one gets interested in the story, and through that means the story is the bait, and through that means gets hooked to Vedanta, hopefully, ideally speaking. But the Kenopanishad is doing Shirshasana. Yeah. Shirshasana means it's doing a headstand, because the stand that it takes is completely opposite to the other Upanishads. It is called Kenopanishad because it's simply because it starts with the word Kena. Keneshitam preshitam patati manaha. Impelled by whom, desired by whom, does the mind as though falls into various thoughts and patterns. No, what do you mean impelled by whom? I am in charge of my thoughts. Are you? Yeah? No? Maybe? And somebody is saying, let me think about that. What is going to be your next thought? Huh? What's going to be your next thought? Don't know. Huh. When it comes, So the mind obviously is not in charge of the thoughts. It falls, where it may, and it doesn't seem random. Even though we say some thoughts happen without rhyme or reason, there is a reason. Sometimes there is a rhyme also. Yeah. Thinking of Honda makes one think of Bonda. So, like this, there is a rhyme and there is a reason. The reason may be hidden from one, but the reason is there. The reason is not immediately evident because it is lodged deep in the subconscious mind. Like the character from one of the Alfred Hitchcock movies. Very nicely behaved young lady, newly married, broke out whenever she saw the color red. If she never saw red, she was fine, just a normal person. But that red made her go crazy. And there was a reason for that. She had witnessed somebody her parents getting killed or something like that long back when she was a small child. So deeply lodged in the subconscious mind is the rhyme and the reason behind the thoughts, but since it is not evident, they are not evident, they are not accessible, it appears that the mind is just falling into certain thoughts without any reason. And it doesn't seem to be random, because it's not that this young lady freaked out only on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays when she saw the red color. She freaked out all the time. There was a pattern to it, and so the question that an unnamed student asks in the beginning of the Upanishad, at the beginning of this Upanishad, is Kena Ishitam, Kena Preshitam, compelled by whom, impelled by whom does the mind fall, patati, the mind as though falls into the thoughts. A nice reversal of how we look at the mind. We say the thoughts fall into the mind. Here the mind is falling into the thoughts. And how does breathing happen? Most of the time we don't even know whether we are inhaling or exhaling. It's just happening. And when a person needs to hyperventilate, that also happens, correct? Yeah. What is hyperventilation? When you need a paper bag. Yeah, that's what it is. So, like this, Kena Prana, Prathamaha. And then Praiti, when does it stop? When does the breathing stop? Don't know. That definitely we don't know. When is the last breath? Don't know. And going there, the breath comes out each time. It doesn't say, what has this person accomplished? Let me just not come out. And continues to just stay there. No, it comes out. There is a pattern there. Now we can say that there is an intelligence there that is governing the laws of the mind. There's an intelligence there, a conscious intelligence there governing the various functions of the body, the mind, and other sense organs and organs of action. Vacham vadanti. How does the speech come out? And here everybody can say, I didn't mean to say that, I don't know how it came out. Just happens. Kau devo yunakti. As though there is some, deva here means effulgent being in charge, who's joining all these various body parts, including the mind, to the various jobs that they are supposed to do. There is a certain kind of a synergy and harmony in terms of these forces acting together that are governing the functions of the body-mind sense complex. This is what the first portion of the Upanishad constitutes. This is how the student in the Upanishad asks the question. And always the Upanishad, gives its teaching from the standpoint of a dialogue. It's always a dialogue. It's not a monologue. That's why after class we always have time for questions. It's a dialogue. And sometimes the names of the teachers are mentioned. Sometimes the name of the student and the teacher both are mentioned. Sometimes they are not mentioned. Here we have anonymous teacher and anonymous students. And a tricky teaching in the beginning because you don't know what is the answer to this. How do we answer the question, Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha? And the teacher here has a very ingenious way. The teacher says, Shrotrasya shrotram, manaso manoyat, vachoha vacham, sa uppranasya pranaha. So, so what makes the mind fall into various thoughts? It's the mind of the mind. What? Never mind. It's the mind of the mind, the eye of the eye, the ear of the ear, the prana of the prana that is enabling the eye to work. So one is common because the eye of the eye is indeed the ear of the ear. It's not that there are different portfolios and different functionaries. It's that one intelligence that is manifest simultaneously as the eye of the eye and the ear of the ear, because it's neither the eye nor the ear. Yet it upholds the functions of both because it is limitless. So this is sadharana jnanam. Sadharana means it is common. Samanya jnanam, and it's that same intelligence, that conscious intelligence, we can now call it consciousness, that consciousness which powers the functions of the eye, which allows the eye to see. And if there is some disturbance in the eye, like cataract, it allows you to see the cataract as well. Interesting. There is a dosha, pramana dosha, there is a, not dosa, okay? Yeah. So, dosha means there is a fallacy in the means of seeing. That is also evident. Oh, I need glasses. Oh, the glasses are not helping, I need an operation. To whom is it evident? To you. Very interesting. To you alone it is evident. So therefore, you are not just a pair of eyes. What is making it evident is the eye of the eye that is free always from cataracts and other visual inaccuracies and disturbances, so to speak. So what is evident? The eye is evident to the seer, not the eye as in, eye. The eye is evident to the seer. The ear is evident to that seer which is now called the hearer, the ear of the ear. The speech of the speech. This is what the whole thing is. Very beautiful. Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi. Know this to be consciousness. This is Brahman. And what is this Brahman? Bhagavan. What other Brahman is there? This is the cause of the universe as it causes the body-mind-sense complex to function. This is what is called in Sanskrit as Tvam Pada Vichara, an inquiry into the word you. You means what? I. Yeah. So, this is what, so the first portion of the Upanishad is Tvam Pada Vichara, an inquiry into this, who you think you are. You're not just a bunch of sense organs randomly assigned and randomly put together, Pujya Swamiji would always, start contemplating on such topics. Like, why is the nose here? He would say. Why not it be on the top of the head? Why can't it be there? And there are reasons. Because it's very inconvenient when you have a cold, to keep blowing there. And much more susceptible to pollution. So like this, each organ is situated perfectly wherever it should be, however it should be, and each thing is perfect in its own way, and even when it does not function, it's really perfect. As one ages, jarayanti tejaha, the quickness and the sharpness of everything starts to decline. Even as one is lamenting, I can't see as well as I, could. Then you get, let's say you get some powerful glasses, then you don't wish to see at all. Yeah. Because the more you see, the more you have to start wiping and cleaning because all the things you see. You don't see, namaha. Let somebody else do or let it not get done. And hearing, don't even ask, When the hearing goes or starts to go, it's a blessing because you don't need to be hearing all those things. Because even if you hear, what will you do? You can't remedy it. Especially if they are talking about you, who? Your own in-laws. Yeah. Outlaws. They're talking about you and you can't do a thing about it. You have to just bite the tongue from saying all the things and keep quiet. Better not hear. Bhagavan knows. And tongue, yeah. Tongue wants all kinds of things, but you say, oh, this doesn't have enough salt, this is not good. It's okay. Because the stomach needs to have the capacity to digest. And that also is becoming less and less. Vaishvanara, Agni, another character in the Upanishad here, is becoming Manda, Mandagni. Manda means what? Slow, sluggish, dull, Manda. And so if the tongue was as before, wanting all kinds of things, then there is a little mismatch, Yeah. You have to keep taking aids all the time. You have to keep, taking all kinds of digestive things. So therefore, in a way it is good. When that means what? There is a pattern, there is an intelligence even in their non-functioning, which is part of the order. The non-functioning of the organs is also part of an order. It's all a blessing, really. Which again goes to emphasize the fact that, there is an intelligence, an intelligent being, not just consciousness, conscious being, which is part of this whole thing. This is what is called Deva, effulgent being. Effulgent means what? Self-evident. Self-evident. When something is to be known, it is either pramana siddha, you come to know it through a means of knowledge, or it's self-evident, svatasiddha. It is either svatasiddha, it should be evident to itself, it should be evident to you, or it should become evident to you through the operation of a means of knowledge. These are the only two ways you come to know something. So if I want to pick up a smell of a rose, how do I know it? Yeah, through the olfactory nerves, through the sense of smell, I know it. But if I want to see the sun, it is already evident. It is evident. You don't need a flashlight to show the sun. So in this, relatively speaking, the sun is svatasiddha, but compared to you, the sun is also needs to be lighted up by that light of consciousness, which is called I, which is self-evident, which is svatasiddha, and which does not require a pramana to be made evident. So then what does Vedanta do? What does Vedanta do? We keep talking about pramana all the time. What does Vedanta do? Yeah, but why do you need pramana when it is svatasiddha? The teaching shines the light on what? On all the mistakes. Mistakes, missed takes on who I am. Because that who I am is covered by the eclipse. We are going to have one day after tomorrow. No, 21st is big one, but small one is on 7th. Lunar eclipse. Yeah. Lunar eclipse is going to happen. I don't know if it's evident here or not. Not here. But that's why people don't know. But somewhere it is happening. Maybe West Coast. So, this, it's like the eclipse. The eclipse does not obliterate the sun. In fact, it is because of the sun you can watch the eclipse. The eclipse, as though obfuscates the sun temporarily. Like this, the ajnanam is always likened to the eclipse. Like the eclipse, it covers as though the truth of the self. So this ajnanam is removed. So the pursuit of knowledge is ajnana nivritti, the removal of ignorance. And here the teacher says, Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi. Know that I of the I to be that Brahman, to be that Bhagavan. And who is that I of the I? I. That I alone is the eye of the eye. I alone is the ear of the ear. It's a Mahavakya. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi. Nedam yadidam upasate. Not that which is an object of worship. Oh, so I should stop going to temples? I should stop building temples? I should stop doing puja? Then why did I do puja to begin with? I could have had that spare time from many years. That's not the idea. The idea is nobody worships an idol. What are you worshipping? You're not worshipping the image. No. Nobody. Idol worship is idol talk. Nobody is worshipping an idol. What are you worshipping?
God within the idol.
Bhagavan. You're worshipping Bhagavan. Through the idol, which becomes a means to gain that end, which is not evident. Why? Because it is you. That's why it is not an object. It's you. So therefore, Atma Bhavena Pujayet. There is an injunction. Soham Bhavena Pujayet. Usually puja means it's a hoham. So we have to grow from hoham to soham. That is the whole idea. Saha aham soham. Or you can even say saham. Why only saha all the time? Saham, same thing. So you say that I don't know who you are. You are antastha, you are within me, you are outside. In fact, outside, inside is all you. The whole universe is pervaded by you. Let me know who you are. Let me know myself as you alone. That is the prayer. So therefore, really nobody is worshipping an idol. But once you start doing puja, this becomes a very, a fine line. Because one gets into this, one very easily can get stuck in a certain duality, out of which one has to grow really. One starts to think of Bhagavan in that particular form. Nothing wrong. But again, there is a fine line. Having certain feelings, having certain thoughts. And then who is having those thoughts? You or Bhagavan? Answer came late, but the right answer came. You are having those thoughts. So if you think Bhagavan today is mad at me, it's your own fear talking. No, he looks mad. Why will he look mad? As though he has no other work to do. No, he looks angry. This is a clean case of transference. And so that's why the teacher says, that which you think you are worshipping is not Brahman. That is not an object. That object of worship is not Brahman. Then if object is not Brahman, what is Brahman? The subject indeed is Brahman. And the subject is that which is not subject to objectification. You want me to repeat that? The subject is such that it is not subject to, never subject to objectification. So the moment you start objectifying, you have gone away from Brahman. So this is what the Upanishad wants to drill. And Brahman is nothing other than a synonym of Bhagavan. Jagat Karanam Brahman. That which is the cause of the universe, that which is whose Swarupa is Satchidananda, that alone is you, and that you alone is this Bhagavan, and anything intermediary that you can objectify, that you can dress up nicely for Janmashtami, that you can, what is that, do jhula, all this is not Brahman. This is what it is, very radical, Very, very radical, very beautiful. And of course, also very difficult to internalize. Very difficult to internalize. And so as long as one is, mired in that duality, the eclipse will not go. The eclipse of Ajnanam won't go as long as one is reproducing that duality. And so the teacher here tries to make it very clear that go straight to Shrotrasya Shrotram, the ear of the ear, the eye of the eye, the mind of the mind, and everything else, never mind. Just go straight to that. Don't get stuck with the aropa, that which is transferred onto something. That is not what is Brahman. And so like this, the whole teaching proceeds from a very, high level. That's why this Upanishad is not taught in the beginning, because the gurus don't want to lose the few Vedanta students that that by mistake come to the ashram. So all the gurus got together and decided that ye baad mein padhayenge, not in the beginning. Because in the beginning, half the class will be asleep and the other half will walk out. And the guru will be teaching himself or herself. What fun is there in that, So, that's why this is taught later, because there is nothing to make it palatable. There is no story. There is no, there is no chakpata. There is no garam masala. There is nothing. It's just all esoteric and it's full of word plays. Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya navedasaha avijñatam vijana ajñatam, avijñatam, and then vijñatam avijanatam avijñatam vijanatam. So the one who knows, who thinks they know, they don't know. The one who thinks they don't know, they know. What? This is how the whole thing is. It's not just a tongue twister, it's a mind twister. So like this, and the teacher puts some quizzes also. See, that's how I learned to ask questions in the class. Why should only everyone else ask the question? I also started to ask questions after, following Kenopanishad. Teacher asks the question, who knows Brahman? And of course, everybody wants to praise the teacher, correct? But they are little afraid, because then there may be a follow-up question, what is this? Kim Tad Brahma? But still one person is very brash and, raises the hand. Sir, I know Brahman. And the teacher insults him in the whole class. Virimanyase, Suvedeti. If you say that you know Brahman as an object, Dabhramevapi Nunam Tvam Vedha Brahmano Rupam. Your knowledge is like a small little, dust on the ground. Your knowledge is, tucham, as good as non-existent, Then another student has the idea, I should raise the hand and say, okay, I don't know Brahman, because that's the right answer. Because obviously I know Brahman was not the right answer. So I have to tell the right answer. This was the polishing type. Wanted to be the teacher's pet. So this person raises the hand and, this person says, yes sir, you're right, I don't know Brahman. Teacher says, sit down. If you don't know Brahman, sit and listen. If you don't know, you don't know. You're just declaring your ignorance, correct? And then finally, a very bright, sukshma, subtle and brilliant student has a very good answer and mimics the teacher's own language. Vijñatam, avijanatam, avijñatam, vijanatam, and says, Naham manye suvedeti, no navedeti vedacha. Yonas tadveda, no navedeti vedacha. It's as confusing in English as it is in Sanskrit. So it doesn't matter even if you don't translate it. But he says, I will not say that I don't know Brahman. At the same time, I will also not say that I know Brahman. What is it? Make up your mind. And he says, amongst us, whoever knows knows what I know, and the teacher is very happy. And so like this, the first portion of the Upanishad is, you have to have a strong, what is that, strong interest in Vedanta to sit through it. And the importance of this Upanishad is underscored because Adi Shankara wrote two bhashyas for this. One is called Pada Bhashya, word by word Bhashya, and the other one is called Vakya Bhashya, a sentence by sentence unfolding. Very, very important Upanishad to understand this knowledge. Then, then after the students have sat through this, the teacher breaks out into a story. Now we come to the fun part. So the teacher then tells a story, and the story is important because it functions as an allegory. An allegory means that which is the story has certain characters and certain events that unfold in a certain time period, and the characters are upalakshana, they are metaphors for something else, they stand for something else, and the events also stand for something else, and the whole thing is a lesson. So the story is not important for itself, the story is important for what it conveys. For what it conveys, it is priceless. It's a priceless story. And before we get into the story, we have to have a little, briefing based on the bhashya here, which somebody handed the book. So those who were keen on getting into the story will have to sit through it. Who gave me this book? Yeah, so it is Sharmaji's fault that we are not getting immediately into the story. We are going to have a little more philosophy before we get into the story. Because I read the Vakya Bhashya while we were, setting all this up, and I got excited about this. So the story has to be introduced properly. Adi Shankara thinks, which is very important. Because otherwise we just go home thinking it's a story. Because the story has something to say later when each of the characters who are featuring in this story, like Indra, Agni, Vayu, etc., they relate to certain aspects within ourselves. And that is a different, that is what is called an allegory, and that's going to be pointed out later. But even before this story, there is a certain, prastuti, there is a certain way in which this background information has to be there before one can place the story in the context and enjoy it also. Because that Bhagavan which I seek is everywhere has already been made clear through all these verses. Number one, previously whatever has come in this same Upanishad. Number two, that this Bhagavan is not an object, but the truth of the very I, the subject, the content of the I, has also been made evident. Number two. Number three, that this Bhagavan cannot be seen or heard because the hearer is Bhagavan, the seer is Bhagavan, I am that Bhagavan, has to be understood, has also been made clear. And so, the story is going to unpack this Bhagavan in such a way that it is easy for the student to relate to this Bhagavan. And it's going to unpack it from a very, very sophisticated standpoint, from three standpoints. And those are commonly called Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, and Adhyatmika. What is this Adhyatma, Adi Daivikam, Adi Bhautikam? Atmanam adhikritya tishtati. Adhyatma, centered on the I. Adhikritya means centered on the I. All the things like Shrotram, Chakshuhu, all these things are connected to the eye. Then what? Then we have Adhibhuta. Bhutanam adhikritya tishtati, centered on the 5 elements from where the ears, etc. have come. Because where has the capacity to hear, etc., the immediate cause is the 5 elements. The 5 elements are the cause of the body, the mind, the senses, everything. You go back to the 5 elements. The 5 elements constitutes our surroundings. And it's very clear to see that they don't just constitute the surroundings, because the air that is there is what? Vayu. And take a deep breath. Don't hold it, just take it. Yeah. And what is that? What happened? Prana. How did this Vayu convert into Prana? Adhibhuta, Vayu, Prana, Adhyatma. And then hopefully the Prana came out, correct? And joined the Vayu again. How it did that, there is a certain law that links the Adhibhuta, Adhyatma to the Adhibhuta. There is a certain link. Yeah. And that link is called Adhideva. That Bhagavan, in the form and function of that which is the presiding deity of the eyes, the ears, etc. Understood? Yeah. So, it's not that, Hinduism has many gods. This is where the problem comes. The many gods are, the so-called many gods are, this is what it is. This is Adhideva. Bhagavan in the form and of certain functions and functionaries, because Bhagavan is everything, everywhere. It can be invoked in any manner. You can invoke it as Adhyatma, as Adhibhuta or Adhideva. And so this Adhideva is the one that is the presiding deity of various organs in the body. Because that's also linked to all the 5 elements, everything. And then you can glorify the 5 elements. On the 5 elements you can impose Adhideva, because you see that there is a connection. Between Vayu and Prana there is a connection. So you can say Namaste Vayu, Swameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. You are indeed Brahman, you are Bhagavan. Namahate, Namaste unto you. You are not glorifying Vayu, you are glorifying that Adhishthana Devata, that which is allowing the Vayu to glow in a certain non-random fashion. Even if there is a tsunami or a hurricane very clear, sent by Hari, simple, sent by the Lord, sent by Lord Hari, very clear. So, you see, this is somehow we have to see this. And so therefore, whether it is hurricane, whether it is a tsunami, whether it is a thunderstorm, all those high capacity winds that go like that, we see it in the NASA pictures, all that is what? Bhagavan alone. So, we are able to appreciate this. And that is what becomes the background for this story. Because, we can invoke this Vayu from the standpoint of Bhagavan. We can invoke Vayu from the standpoint of Prana. We can invoke Vayu as the one that is the intelligence behind everything. Because even if there is a terrible hurricane and so many things were destroyed, that destruction is part of another order, usually the order of karma. So it's not out of order why this is happening. It's not happening randomly. It's happening in a certain way. And, somebody pointed out that all the hurricanes that come in the fall, they come through that Florida, correct? And they all apparently come through that middle passage, the same route that the slave ships came to deposit the enslaved people to various, plantations along the way. This is karma. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. If you look at all those histories, extremely interesting. And so, like this, we have to be able to see this, that everything is in order alone. And to appreciate this whole Adhideva, how, we have all this Bhagavan manifest in the form of so many forms and functions. This story is now presented. This is how it is. And what happened in this story? Indra was there, of course, I already told you that. And then certain other devatas. Devatas means various forms and functionaries, effulgent beings, exalted jivas who are in charge of various portfolios. All of them were there. The clinking of the goblets was heard. Soma juice was flowing freely. What is Soma juice? Huh? Somebody said whiskey? What is Soma juice? Alcoholic libation. Yeah, some kind of a alcoholic substance which was ritually used to get into an altered state. There are many things like that. There is this peyote and so many things. And so it was only used in controlled situations like yajna, etc. Of course, the devas had a pass. They had the license, so they could have it. As it functioned as champagne because they were celebrating a victory. Om Brahma Devebhyo Vijigye Tasya Brahmano Vijaye Devaha Amahiyanta. So, ha, indeed, as it happened a long time ago, ha is a particle that is used for things that happened a long time ago as the events unfolded, ha means. So, Brahma Devebhyo Vijigye. So, the Brahman, Bhagavan, was responsible for the Devas' victory. In fact, for this whole party they were having. Bhagavan was responsible for the victory of what? The Devas against who? Now the answer came very quickly. Against the Asuras, the victory took place, no doubt. And who was responsible for the victory? Bhagavan. Yeah. Bhagavan was responsible for the victory of these devas who are like the likes of Indra, Agni, Vayu, etc. Bhagavan helped them to, to defeat the Asuras. But what happened? Tasya Brahmano Vijaye. But Brahman did not get the credit. Who got the credit? Devas got the credit. Everybody said, oh, this is so wonderful. You saved us. We said Trahimam, Trahimam, Pahimam. And you saved us from the Asuras. Thank you, Indra. Indra got lot of emails. Thank you. As the subject line. Yeah. Indra@swarga.org. Yeah. That's his personal email. Yeah. And so like this, a lot of emails Indra got, and Agni was not far behind. He also got a lot of emails. And who else was there? Vayu. Vayu is difficult, not in one place. That's why called Anilaha. How do you track down? Doesn't have an address. But doesn't matter, because nowadays nobody has an address. I asked somebody, what is your address? They said, it's been so long, I forgot. Yeah, because who is using address? Nobody is using address. So, but still Vayu was, technologically advanced and, he had a whole mobile everything, office, and that's how he worked, and he too got a lot of thank you notes and plus lot of thanks. Everybody stood up when they all walked, when they all went, and then what happened? The victory went into their head. They forgot all about Bhagavan. They didn't see that it was Bhagavan who helped them even to hold the Astra and Shastra in their hands. It is not possible without that conscious being allowing its satta and giving its spurti, giving its existence and its awareness, lending its awareness to this body mind sense complex called Indra, called Agni, called Vayu, without which they could not function. They forgot all about that happily. And of course the Soma juice helped even further in this forgetting. They were under the influence, and the Soma juice is brought in because they were what? Completely addicted to this victory, and they were under the influence of this heady victory which went into their head even like the alcohol does. You see the allegory in this. Yeah. The Soma juice, why is it brought in? They could have been having orange juice. Why? Why they're not having orange juice? It's not that oranges can't grow in Swarga. Swarga, anything can be had. Why are they having an intoxicating juice? Because that intoxicating juice is a metaphor for the victory which is very addictive and intoxicating. The victory has gone, bypassed the blood-brain, barrier and gone straight to the head. And they are not thinking clearly because somebody who is addicted and who is under the influence is not thinking properly. So they are able to see only their own what? Prowess. Asmakameva Vijayah Asmakameva Mahimeti. So then they started to say, this is our victory. Asmakameva Vijayah. Asmakameva Mahima. This is our glory. This is our victory. And they started to talk to each other and relive the battle of the, battle number 1015, because they kept fighting the Asuras all the time. And they relived this battle with great, happiness. Great happiness, great nostalgia. They relived this battle. And Vayu said, I went and did and I literally blew away the enemies. I blew them away. Pun intended, he said. And Agni said, I just scorched them out of the battlefield. What you did? You didn't do anything. And Indra said, you both had to actually do things. I just had to look at them and twirl the moustache just a little bit, and they went away. They just ran. Rakshamsi bhitani disho dravanti. Actually, that's from the Gita, but it applies to this situation. So all the Rakshasas ran helter-skelter. I just had to look at them. One look was enough. I didn't have to do anything. So like this, a lot of Soma juice was flowing. Soma juice here, wrong knowledge, which they were imbibing and getting under the influence and their prowess, and they came to the mistaken conclusion, our own glory and our own victory. And it was a closed party. Just a few devatas were there milling around. And then suddenly a bolt from the blue, so to speak, a kind of a lightning-like creature was seen at the party. Looked like a thunderbolt, looked like a lightning. And of course Indra is very curious, very attractive. Who is that? Who is that? Looks like a yaksha, Yaksha here means a celestial being of unknown origin. Didn't have an invitation to the party, gate crashed the party. How will lightning come into the party? It will not come invited. Nobody invites lightning to a party. Yeah. Lightning always comes suddenly as a surprise, and this was a very comely, handsome, lightning-like creature. Quick, flash. And it was just there, literally Purnaha, full of itself, happily just sitting or standing in one corner. And then the Devas were very curious. Who is this effulgent being? And they were all very attracted to this being. But they did not know who it was. So they said, let's send Agni. Let's send him to find out who this, Janihi, go find out. Kim etad yakshamiti. Who is this yaksha? What is this yaksha? What is he doing here? He, she, we don't know. Some being is here. Find out who this is. Agni says what? Tathastu. So be it. And Agni is even more proud. They have chosen me. They have chosen me. After all, I am Agragami. I am the one who is invoked in all fire rituals. I carry my name is Havya Vahana. Havya Vahana means what? Havis. Yeah, all this Havi. I carry the Havis, I carry the offering. I am the male carrier for the Devatas. They don't get I am like the Amazon for the Devatas. Yeah. Then I send everything on time. And I am the one who has been chosen for this task. Let's go do this. And so he struts around and looks back to see if people are looking at him, going to talk to the Yaksha. Is anybody taking some photos so that he can then be, all that he looks. And then he goes to the Yaksha. But the funny thing happens. Before he can go to ask the Yaksha, who are you? The Yaksha asks him, Kosi, who are you? Kositvam. This is like a slap on the face, really. It's like some famous actor, So what's an example? Amitabh Bachchan, let's say. Amitabh Bachchan is walking, and then somebody comes up to him and says, who are you? So slap on the face. Who are you? And Agni is taken aback because his pride is hurt. It's like a big slight. But at this time he should have walked away, correct? He should have walked away. He should have said, I'm not going to explain myself to you. Who are you? But I should have, if you don't know me, then you better not know me. I have enough self-esteem that I don't have to explain myself to you. But somehow he is standing there riveted because the Yaksha has a power of attraction, attracting him helplessly, rooted there as though he is made of iron and is standing on a powerful magnet. He cannot move from there. And then he says, well, Jata Veda Aham, Agnihi Aham. My name is Agnihi, Agragami. I am the one that is invoked first. And then the pride comes and he says, also I am writing a book. No. This is in academia, Yeah. In academia, people do this, You can't have a conversation. You say, what is your name? And then very next thing, whether they ask or don't ask, I'm working on something. You are not really working on it. You are thinking of working on it, and the idea has come after seeing somebody else's paper. It's not even your paper. And then the answer is, I'm writing a book on this. So that's like Agni's next name, epithet that he has given himself, Jata Veda Aham. Jata Veda here means wealth. So the Jata Veda means from whom the wealth is born. How does Agni give wealth? Hello? Through the yajnas. Through the yajnas, how? Money comes out of the fire? No. Money, the fire ritual creates, participating in the fire ritual, creates punya samuha, punya vishesha, a particular kind of punya that rains down as money. It comes down as money, of course, not when you want it. Small details. And perhaps not even in this lifetime. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Next life, better luck next time. Yeah. Next time you're just born with a golden spoon in the mouth. In fact, several golden spoons, so many you can't even barely close your mouth over those spoons. Which is itself, what? A deterrent to study Vedanta, because, nobody studies Vedanta after having so much bhoga. Very difficult to put the mind back to the spiritual quest. So Jata Veda Aham, I am the one who is the producer of wealth to those who invoke me. Pride. Yaksha is not done. Yaksha asked the second question. Tasmin Stvai, in you of this fame, Kim Viryam Asti? What are you well known for? Ayyo, what is this, It's like asking Einstein, what made you famous? But again, Agni is riveted, he somehow feels bound to answer. Yadidam, whatever is here, Yadidam Prithivyam, whatever is here in this loka or in other lokas, in any place, I can burn whatever is here on this earth. Again, lot of prowess, lot of pride, and Yaksha is ready now with a trinam. Trinam means what? That too, shushka trinam. Very dry, the driest blade of grass that you can find. From the driest haystack, from Death Valley, California, where the temperature is 125 degrees. He puts in front of him, Daha, burn this now. Agni says, what is this? What is this? It's like Mike Tyson is asked by a 4-year-old, come on, show me how you box. No meaning. And Agni just says, I shouldn't be doing this, but somehow I'm compelled to do this. Little, small flame, one tongue out. Nothing happens. Then he says, maybe it's wet. So I have to call not just one wife. Agni has 7 wives. Kali, Karali, Manojava, blue one, red one, fast one. What is that? Dhumravarna, the smoky one. And then the one who is faster than the speed of the mind. The spark, the one who is full of sparks, the sparkly one. Suruchi, the one that is beautiful to look at, the blue one. And then Devi, the one who is brilliant, effulgent. All of you come, we have a job. They say, okay, what shall we do? Burn this. They say, you must be kidding me. You got me out of a movie for this? I was having a good time with my friends. No, burn this. Okay. Then they all unleash all their tongues. Nothing happens. Then Agni thinks, This is the job for microwave. I'm going to sit on it. I'm going to sit on it and bake it. And then, he sits on it for a few minutes on high power. And then he thinks, okay, now the job is done. That stupid blade of grass is history. You can't even look at it. And then he gets up from where he sat on it. The blessed blade of grass has not even changed color. Even Agni knows when it is time for the curtain call, when it is time to make an exit. And he goes quietly, joins the drinking devas. And they said, what happened? Who is he? Well, it was kind of difficult to find out who he is. Then they say, Vayu, you go. And Vayu goes. Same exact thing repeats itself. History repeats itself with Vayu. He goes. And before he can ask, Yaksha says, who are you? I am Vayu. Vahu? No, Vayu. Vati iti Vayu. I go everywhere. I don't need a visa. I can go from here to there. I carry terrible diseases. Yeah, I carry all kinds of terrible diseases, starting with, but not limited to the flu. I carry it. Everywhere I bring all these diseases. I also carry fragrances. I also carry the nice smell of good cooking. Everything is me. Plus, I can unleash destruction wherever I go. I have many sides. Don't say Vahu. I'm not easy to, do this. My name is Matarishva. Again, Agni gave himself a title. He also gives himself a title. Matarishva, Matari, K in space. Shvayati, the one that moves in space. This is who I am. All right, says Yaksha. Vahu, why don't you tell me what you are known for? Tasmin Tvai, in such a one as you that you have described, Kim Viryamasti, what are you known for? What is your Shakti? What is your prowess? Vayu says, whatever it is I can move, I can lift, I can move it around, shake it about, drop it to the ground. And then what comes out in Yaksha's hand? Same blade of grass. Move this. Let me see you move this. You must be kidding. Why? I'm not wasting my time here. Well, you said you can move things. Move this. Says, oh, come on. Nothing happens. Okay, from Oklahoma he calls hurricane level winds and unleashes all of them. It doesn't move even a millimeter, not even a nano of a millimeter, fraction of a millimeter. He then has some kind of a jnanodaya. What is jnanodaya? Some kind of an enlightenment moment. And what is the enlightenment moment? That fellow Agni, I know what happened to him. That's why he was quiet. Agni is never quiet. I know what happened to him. But he is not telling, he quietly just came and poured himself another Soma glass. Says, I'll also do the same. He also goes and says, I'm not able to find out who he is. Can you pass the goblet here, And Agni looks at him. Did the same thing happen? And Vayu says, yeah. All, I language, sign language. DSL, Devata sign language. Not ASL. And then the Devatas urge Indra, their leader, because this is obviously not the job for all the front runners. We need the real leader. We need the leader to come and do this. So please go find out who he is. Who is this Yaksha? Indra goes. And at least the Yaksha was available to the other two for transaction to talk. But when Indra goes, the blessed Yaksha disappears. Tiro babhuva. Yeah. Disappears. And the disappearance of the Yaksha in front of this big assembly of the Devas, where everybody saw Agni talking to him, Vayu talking to him, spending so much time with him, and then coming back, saying we don't know who he is. But when Indra went, Yaksha gone. And so the humiliation does not escape him. Sometimes the humiliation serves to make the ego more entrenched. Sometimes the humiliation is a precursor to humility. And Indra knows this is something big. And I need to just sit here and pray. Tasminna eva akashe, in that place itself where that Yaksha disappears, Indra sits down and prays. And then what happens? A beautiful, bright woman comes in the Yaksha's place. Bahushobhamana, very effulgent. And her name is Haimavati, Uma. Haimavati means shining like gold. You can also say daughter of Himavan, but that doesn't quite fit here. We are not talking of goddess Parvati. You can take like that also. No, not problem. But this is more appropriate. Shining, because Bahushobhamana is there. Bahushobhamana, Haimavati Uma, Uma Haimavati. And what is she? She is as though covered in gold, shining, effulgent. And she becomes the teacher for Indra. She is there as the guru for Indra and teaches him. Sa brahmeti hovacha. She says, what you missed was Bhagavan. You missed Bhagavan. So that's the first avatara that Bhagavan takes in the Upanishad. This is for people, it's important to know, because sometimes, you may be asked the question, where is the Shruti's sanction for Avatara Vada? We have all these 10 avatars and all these things. All that we know from the Puranas. Does the Shruti support Avatara? Yes, Shruti herself is here saying that was Brahman. And who is Haimavati Uma? She is Pramana, she is knowledge, she is Guru. Knowledge handled by the Guru alone. So she comes as the Guru and teaches Indra. And she teaches Indra all about what was missed in this whole celebration. It's like having a celebration without the person in charge being invoked, being, felicitated. A celebration without a chief guest. And if there is no chief guest, everybody else becomes the chief guest. This is what has happened. This was your mistake. And this is why he came to teach you this lesson, she says. And then Indra learning this knowledge becomes great. Indra teaches Agni, Vayu, everyone. They all become great. And then what? We learn from this, we become great. That is the story. So now what this means and what this has to do with each and everything, how this story might pertain to us and how it might be relevant to the study of Brahman in this day and time, we will reserve for tomorrow. Okay? Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Shanti Shanti Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Any questions? Yes, boliye.
So, Agni, we offer the
Havis. Yes. Yes.
To Agni.
Yes.
I just wanted you to tell.
Yeah. Agni doesn't eat it to himself. He carries it. He is like USPS. Yeah. United States Postal Service. Yeah.
So, how does Agni get his power to distribute to us?
That's the beauty of it. That's why he's called Agragami. Through the smoke, the Puranas say. And so he creates a smoke screen, so to speak, so you don't know what is happening because he is in this realm evident as fire that you can objectify, and then what you see is things being literally burnt or consumed by the fire, but the fire is not consuming. The fire is transforming it to Punya Vishesha. The fire is delivering it to the various devatas, like a mail carrier delivers the various letters. And then that Punya Vishesha is being brought to you. That is what Agni does. How? We don't know, because the Veda is the Pramana here. Yeah. The end is known, but the means are not known. Any other questions? Why is Soma so addictive?
In the not in the ritual sense.
Because, Soma stands for ignorance. Ignorance is always, Soma stands for samsara. Samsara is addictive. Yeah. More you are in it, and the more miserable one is, the more one wants to be in it. You tell the miserable, the one who thinks I am a miserable samsari, oh, they'll come and complain, oh, terrible day, terrible job. Okay, get out of it. Oh, how I can get out of it? Who is going to feed the family? How you can say that? Okay, keep working. No, what do you mean? No job satisfaction. Then you ask them about the children. Yeah, chalta hai. They are teenagers. I don't know, the Indian parents we have this fixation. They don't listen to me. Why should they listen? Yeah. One old man came and told me, please make, in DC itself, when I was teaching at the temple there, old man, elderly man came and said, my son doesn't listen to me. You please tell him to listen to me. I asked one question, how old is your son? 68. So, son is old enough to be grandfather. He is old enough to be great-grandfather, but still he wants the son to listen to him. So, okay, don't have children. How to not have children? Of course I want children. Okay, have them and be happy with whatever comes. No. How can I be happy with whatever comes? Look at this. What Bhagavan has sent. Many times I doubt whether some exchange happened in the hospital. Because this one doesn't behave like me or my spouse. Speaking of spouse, you ask them about marriage. Oh, terrible marriage. Horrible. How long have you been married? 53 years. So it's been horrible for 53 years. Yeah, you don't know my story. Terrible marriage. Then get out of it. No. How can I do that? I can't do that. Okay, then, stay with it, enjoy it. Or just have your own life. No, I can't have my own life either. This is how it is. So that's how samsara is like soma juice. miserable yet addictive.
Is it the habit? Is it easier to stay with a bad habit?
No, it's not bad or good. The habit is forceful. Yeah, that's why it's called viparita bhavana. The habit becomes habitual. Yeah. So, just like in the case of a habitual offender, the habitual offender has made a habit of it, of stealing or doing whatever it is they do. The habitual offender has made a habit. So, even though has gone to prison once or twice, has come out, and then doesn't matter, it has become a habit. So, one is a habitual offender of samsara. Yes.
Well, you were giving this didactic example. I was going through 1920 book here.
No.
The Puranas of Ramakrishna Macha. Literal translation, you went right. But question comes, the question is different. See, all these stories in those, as you were telling, I was going literally to those all. They appear like Star Wars things. You cannot lift up even the little straw.
Yeah.
You cannot even Agni as powerful as it is. It doesn't appear real because it has physical characteristics and it has to obey those characteristics. How can it not burn the straw, or how can the wind cannot blow the...
Yeah, that shows that the wind also has limitations. And the wind is not blowing by itself, it is being powered by something else to show that. This is all to show that. To show Bhagavan's mahima, that without that satta and spurti apradhanena, without that satta and spurti, satta means without that existence which powers the existence of Vayu, upon which the existence of Vayu as name and form is dependent, and without the spurti, without the conscious intelligence that tells it what to do and where to go, etc., Vayu is not Vayu. Vayu is nothing. So what makes Vayu Vayu is Vayoho Vayuhu, just like Shrotrasya Shrotram. So this is the Vayu of Vayu. That intelligence is as though depersonified from Vayu and repersonified as Yaksha. So what is part and parcel of every body, mind, sense complex, that reigning intelligence, that Satchidanandatvam, is as though taken out and given a form to show that when it leaves this name and form, the name and form is empty of all powers. It is an allegory. We'll see that tomorrow in more detail.
I think it has one message too, that when we have ego, we become powerless.
There you go.
And also it shows in the movie on Ramanujan, how they ask at Cambridge, how do you do it? How do you get this complete formula? And the movie begins with the same thing in the end. When he's returning in hospital with a baby, not curable at time, he said, you ask me how I do it, how do I get it? Will you believe me if I can? And they say, do you believe in God? So Hari says, I cannot believe in God, but I believe in you. So he says, I don't do anything. Devi tells me, I just write it down.
Good.
So because Ramanujan had this belief, Devi is telling him, he's writing down, that's why he was so great.
Right.
I guess that's a message that we should also give us. Right?
How does a jnani perform Murti Puja?
How
does a jnani perform? When a jnani is performing Murti
Sure,
Puja,
because
what
we don't
is
see
the bhava?
Murti. It is not Murti Puja. We have to stop talking about it as Murti Puja. It is Bhagavat Puja. Yeah. For the Jnani, everything is puja. Eating is puja, drinking is puja, living, sleeping is puja. Meditation is puja. Dhyayati iva. So when the mind is focused, it is as though meditating. And then lelayati iva, as though it got distracted. That's all it is. So It's the whole thing is an endless puja, not of something other than himself, herself. It's a puja of that Shakti that is there within, without, everywhere, including oneself. Yeah.
So when they do prana pratishtha,
Yeah. Yeah.
they say they energize it.
Yeah.
Shakti.
Yeah.
So does it have that Shakti?
You know, do you have the Shakti?
Yes.
Yeah. And are you spending a lot of time doing repeated pujas to it? Yeah. So you are giving it your Shakti to be able to bless you. Very evident. So Prana Pratishtha should make it very evident where the Shakti is coming from. Oh. Shakti is animate, correct? And you are that source of animation. And then if it is residing in a Shila, whether that Shila is made of stone or marble or whatever it is, you are giving it the power to bless you. Just like when you select a therapist, you Google all the therapists and then you select the best one you think, and then you say, yeah, this one has good reviews, and my friend has gone there, and this one has gone there, and that this is the one I am going to choose. So you have chosen the therapist and you pay the therapist to bless you and validate you. Correct? Same thing is happening here. Ah. So the extent to which you validate the therapist, the therapy works. The moment you stop validating the therapy has no power. Same thing here. The extent to which you validate Bhagavan, Bhagavan becomes an altar of blessing. Deep stuff.
You mentioned that Indra was praying at one time.
Yeah.
Who did they pray? They pray God.
Yeah.
And they are gods.
They are not gods. They are exalted jivas. Yeah.
They also need to pray.
Yeah, they also pray because they are not moving by themselves. Yeah.
So God is behind it.
Okay. Om Tat Sat. Vivian.
I like the title you had given. Thunderbolt.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Give. Come. Glad you were able to make it.
Yes, I'm also very happy. No classes to rush to. I'm very happy.
Good. Nice surprise, huh?
All our advantage.
Very nice. Oh. How is your health?
Good, wonderful.
What are you saying?
We can talk with Mimi in detail, but yeah, everything is good, looking good. Guru Kripa.